Good morning, YouTube. We're out in the garden again. This is the giant. I guess it can't be that giant because, like I said, between 200 and 400 pounds. Not one of those 1,000-pounders, but still, that's the leaf. That's my hand. I have a relatively small hand, but still, that's pretty impressive. I'm doing what they call spoon feeding, where I'm getting little bits of fertilizer every few days instead of a big hunk of fertilizer. So I'm giving it some nitrogen every 4 days. Backed up on the watering to about every other day, but that's only for now. I'll probably go back to every day once a fruit sets. And what was I talking about? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Just finishing vacation, so I need to get used to not sleeping as much anymore. The vine. Okay, so when you listen to everybody about what pumpkin vines do, they always say that the direction that the first true leaf goes, the vine will go the opposite way. So when I put this in the ground, the true leaf was going that way, or the first true leaf was going that way. So the vine was supposed to go that way. Well, this guy didn't listen, because now his vine is starting to go towards the back fence. And of course, there's no room back there. So I've got this little bucket here, trying to nudge it to go this way. Hopefully we can get it to turn before it hits the cement and go out this way. I don't know if I should try to get it towards the side of the fence again, because it seems kind of like a lot of turns to me. But we'll see what we can do, because it can't go this way. There's just fence this way. I mean, yeah, unless I try to wrap it this way, but then I wouldn't be able to get inside my shed, so that wouldn't work. Got secondary vines coming off at most of the joints. See, like this. And of course, this is a whole lot bigger than the other one ever got. So far, so good. Come over here to the other pumpkins. Okay, so these are the other ones that had barely come up 2 weeks ago. They seem small to me, but then again, I kind of got used to looking at the big one and the big mass of pumpkins that I had put in earlier. So that might just be me. I'll start fertilizing them probably today. I know I had said that none of the other seeds had come up, but then this little guy came up, but it's very stunted. So I'll probably just pull that one and just use one pumpkin per pile. And I never did reseed that one. And coming over here, we've got the new thing of corn. And I got one volunteer pumpkin that came up. Well, I had several of them, but they were really far inside here where they weren't going to get any light. So I decided just to keep the one on the very edge. And there's like a bulb patch over here. So I might like put in a sunflower just to fill that little bulb patch. We got our watermelon here. It's got 2 watermelons, one of appreciable size. This is the second baby watermelon. I know I'm shadowing it right there. But then this one's the honker right here. Yeah. This is gonna be a good size. I don't know how to tell when to pick these things, because it's not like they change color. So I don't know if waiting until I'm sure it's not growing anymore, I don't know if that will mean that it'll be too ripe. So, but I mean, It sounds hollow in there, so I know there's, you know, a good amount of meat growing in there. And I'm pretty sure this guy's not going to grow much until that guy is off the vine, because I think it's on the same vine. And then there might be one more on the other side, but it only just got pollinated, so we'll see about that. And that would be the second vine that's growing that way. So I only want maybe 3 watermelons so that I could get them all to a good size. This one here is setting corn. You can see all the tassels are falling off. I do shake it every once in a while, but I know they're pretty close, so I should be able to get a decent pollination. The bees like it here. I can see pollen hanging to the corn silks, which is a good sign, of course. Oh wow, I just saw that. That's a massive amount of cobwebs in there. Most of them have 1. I see a couple of them that have 2. And I know they'll be small-ish corns, because this one is about the same height that I am. And I am 5... How tall am I? I'm 5'4". So just shy of 6 feet. These ones are taller than me now. You can see them from the other side of the fence. I've got a couple of them with silks on it, but they're not as, of course, it's not as far as the other ones. And a lot of them still don't have their silk yet, which is fine. I poked my finger with something and I don't know what I did, what I poked it with, but it hurts. So we had a slight cool down, and that helped a couple of more female flowers to set. I hadn't gotten any new female flowers in a while, so I got a couple more to set. This one still hasn't grown that much. It's on a weak vine, but it did fill out a bit, did get a little bit chubbier. And then this one over here is already starting to take on some color. I don't know why, because it's pretty small. It is a sugar pumpkin, so I didn't expect them to get very big. But that one still seems a little bit small for it to be turning orange. And it's in the shade, so I don't know why this one decided to start ripening on me. It's like I expected the one behind it to be the first one to start ripening, because that one gets the most sunlight. Usually if they're in the sun, that's when they start ripening. I do want to try to keep this guy going as long as possible. Some of the leaves over here in the center are getting old and starting to get a little crunchy. So I'll probably have to give this one some nitrogen and some tomato fertilizer. I don't use any other type of fertilizer, any fancy fertilizer. I wanted to get my Tiger Bloom that I had used last year, and I might still get that for the giant pumpkin. But we've been having some budget issues, so I don't want to get any fancy fertilizers. I just grabbed a tomato fertilizer from Target, and that has a pretty good number on it. It has, I don't remember off the top of my head what they're called, but the second 2 numbers, it's like the first number is nitrogen, and it's relatively low there, like a 5 or something like that, and then it's got like 15 for the second one, and then like an 8 for the third one. So it should be okay to give for fruiting flowering plants. Oh, check it out. There's a couple of female flowers right here amongst the pumpkins. It'll be funny getting a watermelon started inside the pumpkins. Somebody asked about what I was doing with my watermelon. Here, when I planted the watermelon, I don't know if anybody can remember, but it sort of looked like a volcano. So with the untreated soil here, I just sort of mounded it up until it looked like a large volcano, and then the soil that was on the inside was the stuff that was mixed with the compost and the coconut coir. So I put that in the center as deep as I could. It was actually deeper than the level of the soil is. And so that when I would water, I could just allow it to flood. So what went wrong last year is that I didn't give it nearly enough water, and the fruit that I got, it was small and it was chewy, so it was just dried. It was completely dry. So now what I'm doing is every day I'll come out, and I won't count, I won't measure, I'll just water it until the basin that I made floods, and then that's it. So every day I'll flood it. I didn't give it too much in the way of nitrogen. I did fertilize it maybe once or twice, and that's when it had its big boom of leaves, but I haven't given it any of that since it started flowering. And then I gave it like a couple of handfuls of that tomato fertilizer, and it seems to be liking its conditions right now. Haven't had any problems with it. And I got a little mascot for the cone. She'll have to be moved around because in about a month this one will be done, and then this one will have grown tall enough that it would shade out my little mascot. I don't know why people associate scarecrows with autumn. To me, they're very much a summer thing, because it's like you need scarecrows to protect the corn while it's growing, not while you're harvesting it. So I know I got strange looks from people at Hobby Lobby for buying quote-unquote fall things right now, but to me it's not a fall thing. It's 100% a summer thing. So but even if you want to be buying fall things right now, you do you. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't be buying giant garlands of autumn leaves, because you know what? It's out in the stores for a reason. For people to enjoy it and for people to buy it. Alright, well, I am going to go. It is going to get to about 96, I think it was today, and then by the end of the week it'll hit triple digits. I've taken to misting the giant pumpkin once every hour after about 85 degrees, and it seems to like it. I have the shade cloth over there for the other pumpkins because I can't keep coming out here and misting both ones because they're on opposite ends of the yard, and I don't want to have to keep walking back and forth. So I got those giant ice cubes that I had talked about before. I'll put those inside the center and put the tent over it to try to protect them a little bit. And that's it. That's all for now. That's the update on the garden, the corn, and the watermelon, and the pumpkin. And I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.